Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I would like to introduce myself. My full name is Andika Prian Saputra. You can call me Andika or Andika. I was born in Banjarnegara, Sumatera Java. Uh, but currently live in Purwokerto, Banyumas. I'm graduate from Senior High School Absoluti in Jepara, Sumatera Java. I took this major at the University of Islam, Professor Kiai Haji Saifuddin Sukri, because I I have a career plan to be a lecturer or teacher in my future. Alright, that's for me. And now I will explain middle semester review assistant of Islamic moderation education course. Uh, for for one matter is the definition of education moderation Islamic and Islamic moderation. Definition of education moderation Islam and Islamic moderation education. 1. Definition of education. Education is the learning of knowledge, skills, and the habit of a group of people that are passed down from one generation to the next through teaching, research, and training. 2. The definition of Islamic moderation. Islamic moderation is a view or attitude that always prioritizing the middle in taking a stand, thinking about difference that exist in society. 3. The definition of moderation. In the Big Indonesian Dictionary, the word moderation is avoidance of violence. This word is an absorption of the word moderate, which means an attitude that always avoids behavior or extreme disclosure and a tendency to the middle ground. For definition of Islam. The definition of Islam, according to language, comes from the word al-Islam, which means Islam means surrender to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Definition of Islam, according to the term, is the religion of Allah, which was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as credence for making to obtain happiness in the world and in hereafter. Judging for its basic teaching, Islam is divided into three parts, namely Aqidah, Sharia, and morals. Background: the emergence of the Islamic moderation thought movement. Modern Muslim scholars are very concerned about discussing the theories of Islam that were born by modern world figures about Islam or from both Muslim and non-Muslim scholars. This discourse of Islamic thought has created a very sharp controversy within contemporary Muslims, especially when some Muslim scholars have begun to be influenced and believe in the style of Western thinkers who are free and absolute rationalists when discussing Islam. Islamic thought willed by some modern Muslim scholars by adopting this Western psychological way of thinking and approach has influenced the understanding of Islam for some educated people, such as students and Muslim scholars in Indonesia. And two, the purpose of Islamic moderation is to avoid behavior or radicalism. and always looking for a middle ground that does see and equalize all the elements in Indonesian society, state, and nation. Except with this understanding and moderation of Islam, it can give birth of balance in Islam, but when extreme and liberal, and but when facilitating and difficult, and but when the word and the hereafter, the spirit and the body, and so on, so that realized Islam that is rahmatan lil alamin. Islamic moderation is an understanding and school and of Islamic thought that teaches justice, balance, excellence, tolerance, and ukhuwah in order to realize Islam rahmatan lil alamin. Islamic moderation is a solution for the two sides of hard Islamic thought, not accepting difference and ijtihad is like the Al-Zahiriyah school of thought, where this thought is extinct because of this hard and intolerant nature and character. Islamic moderation too as a solution to thinking that relies on absolute logic, and absolute tends to allow what is prohibited by the Sharia, which is Qati and Ijma. The word Muslim moderate thinking in spirit Islam and in interacting with the rest of the world so that realizing a world that is safe, tolerant, peaceful, and in harmony with each other. So I think enough from material one about definition Islamic moderation and other. So material two is about foundation of Islam, normative education of Islamic moderation education. The meaning of normative basis, according to term foundation, meant as a basis to determine the establishment of something. So the foundation is the most solid foundation on which something is built. To make something stand firm, it requires a foundation or foothold, which in the context of the normative basis of the footing is referred to as the foundation. Uh, while normative comes from the word norm, which means rules or attitude that bind a group in order to add to the provision of the group's territory, which aims to control good attitude or character. That way, normative is obeying or sticking to rules or norms. So the normative foundation is a solid basis or footing to hold fast to the proposition as a benchmark for judging something. One verse of the Al-Quran and Hadith on Islamic moderation education. In Islamic, the Quran and Hadith have become source of law and reference for various problems in life. This has been true from the time of the Prophet until later, as long as Muslims are still under life, that everything must refer to the main source of law, namely the Al-Quran and Hadith. The following is a verse of the Al-Quran that explains about Islamic moderation education, which is contained in Surat Al-Baqarah, verse beside, by mentioned in the Quran. There are also hadiths that explain Islamic moderation education, including hadis riwayat Bukhari from Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. The messenger of Allah said, a person deeds will never save him. They asked, you too, O messenger of Allah? He replied, so am I, unless Allah bestows His mercy. So correct your intention, but do not overdo it in charity so that it causes boredom. Hasten in the morning and afternoon. Help it with light night time. Walk in the middle. Walk in the middle so that you reach your goal. Uh, 3. Talk our opinion of classical and contemporary scholar in responding to Islamic moderation education. Imam Ibn Jarir at-Tabrawi at-Tabari argues that the Wasatiyah Muslim are moderate people because they are in a middle position in all religions. They are not the extreme and excessive group like the extreme attitude of Christian with their monkish teaching that reject the world and their nature as a human beings. Muslims are also not like free and negligent Jews who change the book of Allah, kill the prophet, lie to God, and disbelieve in him. However, Muslims are middle class people and balanced in religion. So, because of this, Allah has named the moderate people. Moderate attitude in religion will be more easily realized if someone has three characters in him, namely wisdom, sincerity, and courage. Wisdom and attitude because of the breadth of religious knowledge, sincerity in acting without being burdened by temptation that hit, and courage in expressing views based on knowledge, without being accompanied by selfishness, failing the most self-righteous so as to be able to admit the truth of others. In Surat Al-Baqarah verse uh, 143, the meaning is, and similarly, we have made you Muslim middle people, so that you might be witness of deeds of mankind, and that we Messenger Muhammad might be witness of that you. We have no made to Kibble that firmly you orient to it, except that we might know who followed this messenger and who turned back. Indeed, uh, the change of Qibla is very heavy, except for those who have been with by Allah, and Allah will not wash your fault. Indeed, Allah is most gracious, most merciful to making. And in hadith from Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu said, the messenger of Allah said, a person that will never save him. They ask you to, unless to Allah based on His mercy. So correct your intention, but do not overdo it in charity so that it causes boredom. Hasten in the morning and afternoon. Have it with the end of the night, what middle so that you reach your goal. Hadis riwayat Bukhari. And I think enough from material number 2. And next, material number 3 is history education of Islamic moderation education. Lexically, the foundation means the pedestal, the base or the base. Therefore, the foundation is the resting place or the starting point on or the base of the footing. In the General Indonesian Dictionary, WGS Purwadaminta cite, history or history is events and events that actually happened in the past or important event that actually happened. Meanwhile, a more comprehensive sense of a historical or historical event. It is also necessary to look at who carried out the event, where, when, and why the event occurred. Event of moderation implementation on the Nabawi Wasira, a dialogue of the Prophet with friends. The Prophet Muhammad once deplies a wasatiyah attitude when having a dialogue with his companions. The story recorded by Aisha tells the story of three friends who claim to practice their religion well. Each of the three friends claimed to be diligent in fasting and not breaking the fast, always pray at night, and never sleep, and did not marry for fear of interfering with worship. The prophet at the time emphasized that I am the best among you, because the prophet fasted and broke this fast, prayed at night, and slept and married. Even of the implementation of Islamic moderation in the era of Khulafaur Rashidin, the story of Umar and Christian. Even the implementation of Islamic moderation in the era of Khulafaur Rashidin, the story of Umar and Christian. Umar was involved in the earlier agreement with the Christian in Jerusalem. At the time, the territory of Ilya or Jerusalem was already in Muslim hands. The handover of the city keys from Patriarch Sophronos to Umar was carried out diplomatically and without coercion. The repay the goodwill of Orthodox Christian religious leaders. Umar offered a peace treaty. The agreement contains the guarantee given by Umar to maintain security, the right to life, property rights, church building, their crisis, and the weak, healthy people, and all followers of religion. Religious moderation is a view or attitude that allows three to make a middle position from two opposing attitude and avoids being excessive in religion. The attitude of moderation has been exemplified by the Prophet, Khalifullah Rashidin, and contemporary classical scholars. The events that occurred at the time were a basis for the application of religion moderation today. Uh, the event of implementation of Islamic moderation in the era of Khulafaur Rashidin. One, story of Umar and Christian, and two, the story of Umar and the Jewish beggar. The event of the implementation of Islamic moderation in classical and contemporary ulama. One, implementation of classical cleric moderation, and two, implementation of Wali Songo moderation. Uh, I think enough from material number 3. And next, I will explain material number 4, about Islamic moderation principle and their relevance to the Maqasid Syariah. The material number 4 is the principle of Islamic moderation include tawasud, tawazun, tasamuh, and musyawarah. Tawasud means middle or moderate. The term wasat or moderate attitude can be found in the latter Al-Baqarah verse 143. The moderation of Islamic teaching can also be seen in various disciplines in Islam, such as in the science of creed, fiqh, interpretation, tasawwuf, propaganda, and so on. People who have a moderate attitude do not mean they have a negative attitude, soft, soft, or have no principle or stance, but quite the opposite. People who have a strong stand. Number two is tawazun. Tawazun comes from the word tawaza, yatazanu, tawazuna, which means balance, also has the meaning of giving something of its rights without any addition and subtraction. Tawazun or balance in all respects, including the use of proposition, actually the argument that come from a rational mind, and the naqli argument sourced from the Quran and Hadith. An example of balance as-sunnah kauniyah means chance balance food, solar system, rain, and other, as heat word in Surah Al-Infitar verse 6 and until 7. And number 3 is tasamuh. Tasamuh in Arabic is the most common. It's used today to mean tolerant. Tasamuh is rooted in the word samhan, which means easy or easy. Mu'jam Maqayis al-Lughat mentioned that the word tasamuh literally means come from the word samhan, which means ease and ease. The Big Indonesian Dictionary or KBBI defines the word tolerant as follows: being tolerant or appreciating, allowing, and allowing. Stance, opinions, view, beliefs, habits, behavior, and attitude that are different or contrary to one's own position. Tolerance is not just a naive attitude with no guiding principles. A Muslim must be strong in his faith and noble in his sharia. Number 4 is shura or musyawarah. In the Indonesian sense means deliberation, a liberal definition generally that is expressing opinions in a forum or association, resulting from the pattern of thought of each individual who is incorporated in the forum. According to Ibnu al-Arabi al-Maliki, musyawarah is to gather for asking for opinion in a problem where the shura participants mutually express their opinion. Deliberation of shura is a principle that confirms that all power issue can be discussed. The method of deliberation that needs to be established is a deliberative institution, and in it there must be a way of making decision, ways of implementation decision, deliberation, and other aspects of governance, so as a principle, deliberation is Sharia. According to Abdul al-Qadir al-Awdad, quotes in the book Suyuti Puluhan, there are two things that did not happen in the deliberation, namely first, commands that are clearly defined in the Quran and Sunnah. Second, deliberation decision must not conflict with orders and legislation in the Quran and Sunnah. Understanding maqasid syariah The word maqasid is the plural from maqsad, which means purpose and purpose, while Sharia means God law that are set for human to be with for achieve happiness in this world and the hereafter. Maqasid Sharia is simply defined as the goal of Sharia. Basically, the essence of the Maqasid al-Sharia theory is the realization to God, the good, and avoid the bad. Relevance of Islamic moderation principle with Maqasid Sharia. 1. Maqasid Sharia embodies moderation in Sharia. 2. Maqasid Sharia embodies moderation in ijtihad and fatwa. 3. Maqasid Sharia embodies moderation in worship. And 4. Maqasid Sharia embodies moderation in muamalah. And for last, relevance of Islamic moderation principle with Maqasid Sharia. Maqasid Sharia relationship with Islamic moderation is a relationship which are very strong and influence each other. Why is that? Due to the moderation, Islam always pays attention to and is bound by the goals and wisdom of the Sharia general. And then understanding Maqasid Sharia. The word Maqasid is the plural from the maqsad, which means purpose and means, while Sharia means God's law that are set for human to be good for her life, his life, achieve happiness in this world and the hereafter. Maqasid Sharia is simply defined as the goal of Sharia. And I think enough from my explanation about moderation Islamic education and from other material I think I can learning I think I can learning after this or every day every every Wednesday maybe, and I think enough for me. uh Thank you for your kind attention to my speech. I'm sorry if there is any word or my behavior which unpleasing you all and God. I beg for a forgiveness. This is the end of my speech today. I hope we can take a good lesson from what I delivered today. I ask forgiveness for any word and behavior which are not supposed to be. I hope what I am delivering today can make us care about the environment. I think that's all my speech. I hope it is useful for you all. I'm sorry for any words or behavior that unpleasing your heart. Thank you very much for the occasion and your keen education. Uh, so let us fight it, stay away together with all elements of our nutrition week are the truth. I think enough for me. This is our last time in my speech to explain about middle semester assignment Islamic education moderation, Islamic moderation education, or no, I don't know. I think enough, and I'm really silly because what I'm waiting from 13 minutes, and this time Or I think enough for me. Thank you for your attention and see you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.